according to Ian Rappaport. So, Brew, if that happens, can the Jets win the AFC?
Look, I got the Jets without Davante winning the division. If they get him, I definitely think they win the division. I don't think they'd win the AFC. And I've said I'm not. This is where I've always been. You guys know it even before I was a host on the show. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to trust him in the huge game. As great as he is, and I know he's one of the greatest we've ever seen, but in big games, even when he was in his prime with Davante Adams, he was better in Green Bay, and he had Davante Adams, and they still didn't deliver. In the NFC Championship games, these are his numbers. He's 1-4. He's played in 5 of them. I think we have them coming up. But he's 1-4. His passer rating is 83.7, and he's got 9. This is a guy that his legend is built around not throwing interceptions. He's got 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in his 5 NFC title games. So that seems mental to me. Even the game he won when they won the Super Bowl, he had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 55 passer rating.
When they beat Caleb Haney.
Right. Yeah. Do I think he's going to beat Lamar, Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl? No. Or, 2 of them?
Yeah.
1 of them? Stroud?
Yeah.
I just don't see. Look, I think they can make the playoffs, but he is not what he used to be. And even then, he had trouble in these championship games. So, no, I don't think they'd win the AFC.
Yeah, I believe Davante has the biggest impact in New York. And he has the biggest impact because the day that he walks in, he knows the offense. So he can instantly play. And not only can he play, but he can play at a very high level because he's not having to think through what's happening from a scheme perspective. He also can play at a high level because of his relationship with the quarterback and the shared experiences they have. I think the other real value is with a guy like Garrett Wilson, to get a veteran the quarterback can have an impact on a receiver, but to get a guy like Davante who has a resume, that can really help him from a maturing standpoint, developmental standpoint, and you've got another real live threat on the outside.
Do you think Garrett Wilson would be happy if they made this trade?
No, I don't think he would necessarily be happy, and sometimes you're not happy when they bring someone in your position.
Yeah. Really?
But he may be really happy after he's there and he's learning from him, he's getting better because he's there, and it's taking coverage off of him, which could make him a lot happier.
So I know, because I know I don't want to put words in your mouth, but your theory is Garrett's getting doubled. If Davante gets there, he gets doubled.
Hands on him and pushing his balls on him, and he hasn't done anything because of that.
And that certainly could be the case. The other thing could be the case is I haven't had 60 yards receiving yet this year as is. Now Davante is going to be your number 1. We know you love Allen Lazard so much, he's going to get his targets, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Breece Hall's got to get his carries. Everybody loves Braylon Allen. Where am I in this pecking order? But set that aside. I don't think the Jets can win the AFC because with or without Davante, because I'm not sure what they're good at. And I hope people were like, Nick, their defense. Folks, maybe they have a great defense. But here's what I know. I know that if I were to ask 100 random football fans who's the worst quarterback in the league, the names who would get the most votes are, in no order, Will Levis, Jacoby Brissett, and Bo Nix. The 3 times this Jets defense has looked like it had any clue what it was doing, playing Will Levis, Jacoby Brissett, and Bo Nix. So I know they have talent. I know Saleh's a great defensive coordinator in the past. I'm not saying they're not a good defense. What I'm saying is I am really interested in seeing. I've seen them play what I consider an NFL caliber offense.
16th in rushing, and I know he's a threat, but James Cook is good. He's not scary. Passing, they're 20th because Josh is only throwing for 200 yards a game because he doesn't have a number 1 receiver, and they're like 12th in opponents' points per game. So they're good, and they've got a great quarterback, so that makes them a playoff team. But if they want to win a Super Bowl, Coach, and I think when you got a quarterback like Josh Allen, that's what you try to do every year, especially with him. Because we don't know, 4 years from now with the hits he takes, he could be Cam Newton.
But you don't think
fade away, so try every year.
Any division winner that has a no-doubt top 5 quarterback is a Super Bowl contender? Because I do. I think that if you have one of those guys at quarterback and you've won your division, you start the playoffs at home and then you figure it out, you're a contender, whether you're the A-list or, a B-list contender to me. So that's.
I don't think they'd have a chance to win the AFC. How about that?
Okay, yeah,
Look, I don't think Buffalo's a contender, and I think they went into this year, and this was a cleanup year. They had to clean up the salary cap. They're 32nd right now in salary cap space, so they don't really have money for Davante anyways. But this season was a season for them to transition, so to go get Davante now doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But with Kansas City, here's what I see as being different. So between Rashee Rice had as many catches as both Kelsey and Worthy combined. He has as many touchdown receptions as Kelsey and Worthy combined. So as much as Patrick is a force multiplier, at some point when talent keeps leaving the team, it's hard to keep being able to match that, with the quarterback, and he's having his own struggles. What I think for Kansas City is they're trying to do something nobody's ever done. And when you try to do something that nobody's ever done, maybe that's when you take the opportunity to go get a great player. As long as you feel like his skill set is what you think it can be, and he's going to be good for the locker room, you've got a chance to make history. And if you can add a player of Davante's caliber in this window, that's why I'd say organization might be worth taking a chance.
Well, listen, I certainly would love for the Chiefs to get Davante Adams. As I said earlier, I think every team in the league feels like they'd be better with Davante Adams, except for, oddly, the Las Vegas Raiders. We're like, we don't need him. So I understand the point you're making. And also, Danny on Breakfast Bowl this morning showed a stat that no disrespect, Danny. I was like, I think that's wrong. But then I checked, he was right. So good for him. The NFL leader in touchdown receptions since Davante Adams went to the Raiders is Davante Adams. He's number 1 in touchdown receptions since he left Aaron Rodgers, number 1 in targets, number 6 in receptions, number 6 in yards. So, you know what I mean? The demise of Davante Adams from the best receiver in the league to around 10 maybe was slightly overstated, at least in my brain, given his production. But I don't think Kansas City needs Davante Adams. I think Buffalo does need a difference maker. I agree with you, it would be pivoting from the plan. But maybe you do pivot if you're like, man, we're a little better than I thought we'd be, and the AFC is a little more open than I thought it would be. You know what I mean? As far as the Jets don't look great, the Chiefs are already banged up. I know the Texans are 3-1, and we'll get to see them play the
And you have a chance to do something that no other team has ever done.
No. So for the Chiefs,
so you don't think Davante makes the Bills a playoff team or a contender?
No, I think they're gonna have problems throughout the course of the year, even if you add Davante, and it's a short-term fix, and they don't really have the money. They'd have to then again leverage the future. Where Kansas City, not that they're in that much better cap situation. I think they're 26 right now.
So I think the Chiefs or the Bills, it would be a Vegas. This is what I said this on the show yesterday, and then Diana, one of the things she reported today was that my suspicions were true. For the Chiefs or the Bills, it would be Vegas. Convert the salary to a bonus, so he's making the minimum, and we'll give you a better pick than we otherwise would. So you know what I mean? If you were going to get a third, maybe we'll give you a second. If instead of us owing him $13 million, we owe him $1 million. If I'm Buffalo, I'm having a long meeting about it because I like Shakir and I like their tight ends, but they don't have anybody that scares you other than Josh.
But it's probably a one-year rental.
Yes.
And if you're going to be on a one-year rental,
go for it.
Why not do it in Kansas City? Because what's more like this?
Oh, for Davante, I would rather go to Kansas City.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's a different equation for what they're fighting for.
Well, the reporting on where 2-2 Saints, we think, are okay. They've had flashes of excellence and flashes of why can't you score against the Eagles. The Chiefs, undefeated, and they've had flashes of excellence, I would say, and flashes of just being kind of mid. Patrick Mahomes said he's unsatisfied with his play, and here's his numbers. Hobbs always says this is mid. Do you think Mahomes needs a huge game here against the Saints?
I actually do, and I think we're going to see one. So I think the Chiefs' defense has been extraordinary, just like it was last year. And I think that we have, because of last year, Coach, proof of concept that no matter the weapons Patrick has, when he is fully dialed in, he can dial it up multiple notches. Last year in the regular season, as we talked about ad nauseum, it was above average year for every